Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review, and I'm going to be for this video. I'm going to be discussing the it was the 2013 film Star Trek Into Darkness, which is the second movie in the Star Trek reboots that J.J. Abrams was involved in. Now, this movie was not. It was a follow-up to his surprisingly hit in 2009 of the Star Trek, the first Star Trek reboot in 2009. This is the second one. And it was pretty obvious who the villain was going to be in this one. I think in the original Star Trek 2, it took place no more than 30 years earlier, in 1982, Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan. This one, he picked Khan, again, as the villain for this film. And this is like since this is, because of the events that took place in the 2009 reboot, they had like this complete alternate timeline. And they totally rechanged the origin story of how Khan was found in space, out of space. Because Khan, by this point, Khan was already woken up already. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. The original story of the movie was with the Enterprise, and J.J. Abrams, I think, is being a little bit too clever for his own good, because he had the whole Enterprise underwater on this planet, where the Enterprise crew was doing like a scientific survey on. And Spock got himself into trouble because he was going into a volcano, doing research on this particular volcano that was going to erupt, and he was trying to prevent the volcano from erupting and probably destroying the native people on this planet. And Spock got into trouble, so the only way that Kirk could save Spock was to lift off the ship underwater and go and rescue him. And which was in violation of the prime directive of letting the people know, uh, people from outer space. So because of that, Kirk was uh, busted down to a lieutenant, and he was removed from command of the Enterprise, and Spock was put back in. And then, of course, he had this incident with this part of a terrorist taking over in either Australia or another planet or something, and the Enterprise goes to help out, and Captain Pike, Kirk's mentor and the original captain of the Enterprise, was killed by Khan. Spoiler. And of course, they were under orders to, well, the Enterprise goes under orders to find this guy and kill him. But he was originally not named Khan. He was named Harrison. He didn't call himself Khan until he was finally captured by Kirk and his crew. And like I said, it's really clever. But you were hit when the 2009 movie came out. It was like very no hints of who the villain for the next film was going to be. What you knew if Madison was going to be Khan. Of course, when it was the villain for the original movie, if you see my Star Trek 2 review, it went into the whole detail with the original episode. This time, Khan got into his deal with a Starfleet admiral, and he was woken up because he figured, oh, his scientific knowledge and his ability to heal himself, because he was like a genetically engineered Superman back from the 1990s, which I'm not going to rehash that review here, but because he could regenerate himself, go back, healthier and stronger than before, figured that this admiral could use that technology to help himself or to help other people and so forth. Um, but so when Kirk did capture Khan, he didn't kill him, and of course he was getting flack for this admiral for not killing Khan, and he set up like a war with the Klingons, and this was the first appearance in the reboots of Klingons, and it looked like the Klingons from the previous to the original Star Trek movies, and not the more human versions from the original television series. And And of course, he had his ammo was ticked off. They didn't use these special torpedoes, and the torpedoes just had to be 72, which is a weird number. Of course, anybody who knows the original Star Trek episode Spacey knows that's how many people of Khan's people were still alive, or at least still uh, the units on the original ship, the Botany Bay ship, were still alive. So there's a little bit on that for that. And Scotty found out that these torpedoes weren't exactly kosher. There was something wrong with them. Um, so they added something extra that was not in a normal torpedo. And he was told, "Oh, these are brand new torpedoes that Starfleet developed, and all that stuff." And that was the cover story. And Scotty didn't buy it. He said there's something not kosher about these torpedoes, and he found out. When they eventually found in the movie, they found out why, and it's because it had Khan's people in it. And originally, if Khan didn't do what the Admiral wanted, he was going to kill Khan's people. And of course, eventually, towards the end of the movie, Scotty quit over it, and then eventually he eventually does come back into the fold, which I'm not going to get into why, because he asked for Kirk asked for his help and said, "Scotty, I think you might be right. There's something phony going on with these torpedoes." And said, "I'm sorry I didn't believe you before, but I apologize and want you back, back in the crew and stuff." And then, "Come on, why should I help you out? Well, you didn't believe me before." "No, all of a sudden you believe me, you say F you, pretty much the cut. And then eventually the more Sky thought about it, he said, "Okay, I come back into the fold there." And eventually does help out Kirk and the crew later on. And but then with Khan, and of course the big scene where he actually does fight Khan, unlike in the original episode, from the original series, where he actually did have an actual physical fist fight between Kirk and Khan, we'll call him Autobahn. The two of them were giving us a pretty good battle. In this particular fight, after when Khan was captured, Kirk was hitting him with everything he's worth, and he went, because Khan was not even flinching. He didn't get knocked down. He just stood there taking everything that Kirk can dish out, and you wonder how come that happened. And they found out McCoy did an examination on him and found out why Khan was able to take all of Kirk's best punches. He was genetically engineered. He's like a superhuman, and he can stand up to any fight with anybody. And then, of course, eventually found out that, of course, Khan does not win at the end, obviously, and Kirk or Spock in the reboot, especially with Zachary Quinto, who does a great job as a young Mr. Spock, along with Chris Pine playing Kirk. He does call up the original Mr. Spock, which unfortunately, the way it worked out is this was the last time Leonard Nimoy will ever play Mr. Spock, because he recently died a couple of months ago. So unfortunately, this is the last time you're going to see the original Spock on screen, which is a big loss to anybody who is a Star Trek fan like I am, who grew up with the original series and the original movies. And asked him, well, advice on how that I could beat this guy. And Spock pretty much told him, "Hey, yes, I beat him, and I don't want to tell you everything, but I could give you a hint on how I could beat him." And of course, he did. They cut the rest of the scene off. I don't know if it's on the DVD or extras or special added scene or deleted scenes. I don't know, but Spock does tell him, "Hey, I beat him at great cost." And of course, if you know the original Star Trek 2, Spock dies at the end. And this time they did like a reversal of the death scene. And I know I'm going to spoil it for you guys if you haven't seen it. This time, instead of Spock dying, Kirk dies at the end, and he's almost almost verbatim, spoofing or turning around the scene that was in the original Star Trek 2, where Kirk goes into the engine room in this in the chamber where it has all the radiation in it. Kirk goes in there and trying to convince Kirk not to go in, and he knocks Scotty out and said, "Look, I'm going to have to save the ship. Otherwise, we're all going to die if you don't save the ship." And of course, the call up to Spock, the British, says, "Spock, you better come down here. Better hurry." And he hustles down there, and he's doing the, live long and prosper and all that stuff. Um, and he says, "Oh, you saved the ship out of danger?" He goes, "Yeah, it's out of danger." They almost took that scene in Star Trek 2, and they did it verbatim, pretty much verbatim in this film. And unlike what they did in Star Trek 3, how Spock was able to come back from the dead in Star Trek 3, they took some of Khan's blood. They know they could regenerate life through Khan's blood, and they did that with Kirk, and they brought him back to life at the end of the film. I know I'm spoiling it for you. For those of you who've never seen it, of course, and the last scene in the film was they did have the funeral for Captain Pike, funeral service. And then, of course, after that, they were given the assignment of going into deep space for 5.5, the 5-year mission thing. I think, and I do remember when I say I saw this movie a couple of weeks ago. That I think that Spock or Kirk does read Space, the Final Frontier. The same opening monologue that you have in every episode of the original Star Trek series. Instead of saying where no man has gone before, which was in the original series, they said where no one has gone. The politically correct monologue where no one has gone before. Which I feel as all time Star Trek fans kind of like a ripoff. I mean, leave it the way it was originally, even though it's not politically correct. Leave it that way. That's my opinion. But as the film itself, I do forget one other thing that was also kind of a ripoff of Star Trek 2 was that Dr. Carol Marcus was in this film as well. Obviously played by a different actress or a younger actress, because the original actress Bibi Besh was her name. She died of breast cancer a few years ago, like 10 to 15 years ago, 20 years ago. She died a few years ago. She passed away from cancer. So naturally, of course, you can't use her. So they brought in a younger actress. Of course, if you know everything Star Trek 2, folks, she has a relationship with Kirk, and she gets pregnant, and they have the son together. In the original bunch of Star Trek films. This one, of course, you didn't seem to have a relationship, but for a split second, you see Carol Marcus in her underwear, which is a good thing. But for the original, for this film, you didn't see him actually having sex in this film, at all. And we did see him have a scene where he's having sex with like a two-headed alien. Kirk does, because of course we know that Kirk supposedly was, for the television series, was a womanizer. And so far, in the two reboots, he was a womanizer. But overall, I thought it wasn't a bad movie. The problem they have the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies, or the two of them he did, was that it was too much action, fast-paced action through the whole film. One thing that I did like for the original Star Trek films is that it built up to the action scenes. Eventually, build up the whole story, build up what it was, and then eventually you had a big action scene, or build up to a big action scene. Here, boom, right away, within the first 5 minutes, you have an action scene. Which, okay, if you're a big action film buff, fine. But for me, for a Star Trek fan, or original fan, you always prefer it if they build up the storyline, and then you have either an action scene halfway through, or a big action scene towards the end of an episode, or the movie. This thing, right away, it hits you over the head with the action. Almost most of the movies, action, action, action. And maybe halfway through the movie, you might finally have what the plot of the film was. That's what you had in the 2009 reboot. You have it almost again in this film. Almost the same thing. And before you have the storyline built up to it, and halfway through the movie, then you have the action halfway through the movie. But J.J. Abrams didn't do that. I hope that when the Star Wars movie comes out this year, in December 2015, I hope he doesn't do that. If he does that, it's going to ruin Star Wars. Like George Lucas said, screw up the series all by himself with all these retooling, retouching some of the movies. But I hope he doesn't do that with the Star Wars film. If he does that, it's going to mess it up, in my opinion. So that's my review of the movie Star Trek Into Darkness. Please click on it. Please rate it. Feel free to comment. Please subscribe to my channel. Please forward this video onto your Facebook pages. And also you can catch my older videos, not only on my YouTube channel, but also on RowdyC.com. You can check out my older videos on there. Plus, the Rowdy Reviewers TV Trash reviews, and he does a great job on. Chris Lee Moore, who is the Rowdy Reviewer, he does a great job on his TV Trash videos. Please check him out, as well as my older videos, because he's uploading some of my older videos on his website. So check out some of my older videos, as well as the TV Trash videos on RowdyC.com. Plus, you can check out all of my videos on my YouTube channel as well. And on a personal note, if I've been permitted to have on a personal man, if Hondo for the New York Post happens to be watching this video, tell you one thing: quit picking the Mets on your column. You pick the Mets every damn game so far in this season, the 2015 season. Stop doing it. Pick the Yankees for a change. Quit picking the Mets, you moron. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.